All right, guys and gals and everyone, welcome back to the Ducati build, where we are on step 25, which we're going to put some vinyl tubing on, and we're going to put a fender on. So we still have to paint our fender. So I'm still in the process of sanding. So I'm going to get out some better sanding sticks, some higher numbers, so get us a better finish and a smoother finish. So we're going to start with a mid-grade of 1500, which is pretty good, and we're just going to move up to 2500. I'm just going to use some spit, get it wet a little bit. I'm just going to try to work on getting that smoother, so when I paint it, it's like glass instead of the way it is right now. So we're just going to keep working. And I've got other sanding paper up above that is also higher. We can go up to 6,000 and 12,000, but right now I'm just trying to use what we got here to just even it out and smooth it out. Make sure I keep moving it and not getting any flat spots. And then we'll hit it with a primer coat to fill in any of the subtle scratches that I have. So now we're going to bump up to a we'll bump up to a 2000 now. We'll just grab some water. You can see that I'm already starting to go through some of the primer coat that I already have on there, which is fine because I'm going to primer it again. I just want to make sure the surface is really, really smooth. I thought it was going to be a gloss black fender, but it's a semi-gloss black fender, so yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. It takes time, but all good things take time to get the results that I want when I look at it, so I don't see anything that I could have done better. All right, one more pass with this, then we'll jump up to the 2500. All right, now we're going to jump to a 2500. I'm not really pressing. I'm just letting the sandpaper do the job, just gliding it across the surface. All right, so I think what I'm going to do now is go give it a nice shot of primer, and we'll see what we have. All right, we have the fender painted. We have a couple decals to put on it. So right now we're just letting it dry. It's all nice and shiny and smooth. So I'm just gonna not touch it until I think it's ready. And then we're gonna add the decals down in here, decal number 62. But right now we're gonna go ahead and cut our vinyl and get that all prepped. So we need these two measurements, G and H. All right, so we've got our vinyl. And like we've done in the past, we're just gonna hold it to the end with the dull side. I'm gonna give myself a little bit over, and then we're gonna stretch it out, and we're gonna cut to the length. So that is G, and H is a little bit longer, so that'll be easy to tell which is which. So we'll get H right there. And so H and G. And we also have I just noticed we also have a decal for the little end of one of the forks. So it's right down on here. We have a decal here and a decal here. I still have to paint that little area semi-gloss black as well. So I might do that right now while we're waiting for that other part to dry. So we'll grab our, what's left of our LP5, which I'm running out. Hopefully Friday I can go out to Mr. Marks out at HobbyNut Models and pick some up. So I'm going to paint this real quick since we have time to dry stuff. Just touching the tips of that little area right there. And grab the other side. There we go. So that is painted. Small detail, but it calls for it, so I'm going to do it. All right, so while we have stuff drying, we can pull our decals for this step. We're going to need 62. So let's find 62. Okay, 62 are these like little chrome rivet decals, which it makes you almost want to paint them instead of put them on. But so we need 1, 2, and 3, 4. So we need 4 of them. So we're just going to go ahead and these ones up here. That's 63. So we're going to grab 4 of those. So set those off over here. And that's 62. And we also need 61 on both sides. So 61 is a cool, it looks like an amber reflector of some sort. So we'll grab those. Okay. And so we are good. We've got our bits of wire. We have G and H. And then we have our decals. So check on our status of our Fender. All right, so we can just leave this little handheld here, and that'll let us get those decals on. That's the beauty about working with really small decals. You don't need a big bowl of water. So we're going to be putting those down right on these small little round areas on both sides. Ah, now I understand. Okay, I'm glad I looked. Okay, so for the vinyl, I need 2 of G, because I couldn't figure out where these were going, but they're going to this little bracket on the back of the Fender that has 2 pegs. So we need 2 G's, one going from this side up to there and one going to the other, and then H will go up right by it. So we need to cut ourselves another. I hope you guys do better at paying attention than I do, because you guys got to be thinking, gosh, this guy's a nut. He doesn't follow any directions. I'm just going to measure it here. A little bit extra. And there we go. There. Now we have 2 G's and 1 H. And our decals, I think, are ready. Trying to use a really small paintbrush to try to get these on here. Well, that's one side. That's kind of what it looks like. So I will do the other side and I'll be right back. All right, we got those 4 down. So we're gonna let those set up a little bit before we try to install that. So while we're letting that set up, we're gonna go ahead and do the decals 61, which are back here. Let's see, they're on the back side. All right, these little amber ones go right here. Let me get you on camera. They go right here on this part, which is right off of the hub on both sides. All right, I think these are bathed enough. All right, so we'll grab this. I'll put it right on the end of that. get it centered up. A small little touch of Solvacet. And that'll help snug it down. And we're going to grab the other one. And another little dip, little drop. All right, so both of those are done. We'll let those set up a little bit before we mess with anything. And we'll get back and put everything on. All right, we are back. While I was waiting for everything to dry, I went ahead and routed the wires. So on the back of the Fender, there are 4 clips. So they are right here, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So we haven't put the Fender in yet, but on this side of the bike, you have 2 pegs, which one of the G's goes on the inside peg. The H tubing goes on the outside peg. On the other side of the wheel, we have another G, and then they'll come up and join that fender, the little pegs on the fender. So, and then that leaves 1 peg on the back of the fender, which if you look in the next step, that vinyl tubing that we had in a previous step, E, it comes down and connects to the top, as it shows this top peg being missing. So we're going to put the Fender on, which I think it almost just snaps into place because you have 2 pegs here on either side, and you have 2 holes on each side here. So we are going to push this onto here, and we're going to snap it into place. So that one snaps right on. And I'm just pulling out a little bit to clear it. And if I'm not mistaken, it's so hard to see, but it's on there. Now, it's up to you whether you want to glue it or not, because it's not going anywhere. But the Fender is on. So then you can come back here and follow the guideline. H goes to the bottom peg. So this back wire is H. So we're just going to grab that on that peg there. And what we might do, I've done this in the past and it helps a little bit, is widening these out a little bit. Sticking this down inside of that tubing and just kind of widen it out, stretching it out a little bit, and trying to get it on there before, and then just grabbing it, putting it on there and wiggling it carefully. And see, that helps it go because it stretches it out a little bit. So then we have our G. Okay, I just did that wrong. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay, yes, I did it right. G goes to the bottom one, and then H crosses over on the top and goes to the top one. So we're going to grab and widen it out a little bit more. And that way when we grab it and connect it, just holding it for some resistance. Getting that one out of the way so I can see. Just kind of wiggling it and pushing it forward. Just slight wiggling. I'm holding it with my finger here so that way I have some resistance. And there we go. Those 2 are on. So let's go ahead and take this last one, which is G on the other side of that tire. And that goes on the bottom. Same as before, just adding resistance on the other side and just wiggling it till it goes on. And then just kind of squeezing it. It'll probably snap back into shape on its own, and just like that, all the wires are in. All the calipers are connected, all the decals are on. So we are going to say that step 25 is done, and it is ready for step 26 for us to do next. Getting everything on the front end done, which is pretty exciting because then we're on to body work and all the fun stuff, colors and decals. So I'm going to bid you adieu for tonight, and when we come back, we'll start on 26. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not a subscriber and want to, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Hit me with a like. Leave any comments that you think you need to. And as always, I just really appreciate you guys sharing this journey with me. Have a great night. Bye.